Chairman, thank you. The chairman has been kind enough we're working on cooperating with my new committee assignment, which is the Senate Committee on Intelligence that meets every Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons at 2:30. And it has, after we had our schedule already determined what we were going to do here. So I apologize for my tardiness and pleased to be here. I only heard Dr. Ellen Hall about the good news. As you would expect, I have continued concerns about the capabilities and the support for community care. And mostly what I know is what veterans tell me as they experience the opportunities and disappointments that occur both at the VA. We're also mostly here, I suppose, to review and see where the IVC is. It's a new office, combining previously two separate offices. The intent in combining those offices into a single entity was to streamline the efforts to improve access to both settings and make it easier for veterans to get the care they need. I don't see the evidence that that's been the case, but I'm happy to hear the testimony that reassures me that it is. A couple of stories that I would tell, just as you were telling yours as I came in the door. A veteran who lives here in the Washington, D.C. area has conveyed to me, to my staff, despite being a long-term patient at a VA medical center here, he decided to request a primary care appointment for the first time in a little over 2 years. He was categorized, he didn't know why, as a new patient of the VA. When he tried to make an appointment a couple of months ago, he was told that it would be 30 days before he could get a primary care appointment. He didn't think that was right. He thought he was entitled to seek the option of community care. But when he asked the scheduler about community care, the scheduler quoted him an access standard information that, when shared with us, it was clearly not the right information, not the right standard. At one point, he was told if he needed to see a VA primary care provider to make a referral to community care. Eventually, the same scheduler told him that, well, if he would call back the next day, she or he could offer him an appointment in just 2 weeks to a different provider. It seems that it's reported that there is a local policy in place that directs schedulers only to look at the availability of certain providers instead of the availability of all providers for possible appointments. Closer to home in Wichita, about a year ago, this veteran started to experience severe pain that was so bad he stopped eating and sleeping and could barely use the facilities. He contacted a VA doctor who advised that he should try Tylenol. Tylenol was not the cure. He went back to the VA and asked over and over again for help with repeated requests that the VA ordered tests and scans and eventually a biopsy. But it took months for those appointments to occur, months in which that veteran continued to have debilitating pain that had nothing to do with being solved by Tylenol. He kept asking the VA to work faster, to get him in sooner, but nothing like that happened. Unlike this first veteran, he didn't know about VA policies, wasn't familiar with the Mission Act. He didn't know that community care was something that he could ask for, little less know that he was entitled to. The VA referred him to the community for certain tests that his VA medical center couldn't perform in-house, but never once offered him the option of seeing if a community care provider could get him the care he needed quicker. A few days before Christmas, this veteran was finally biopsied finally got the biopsy he'd been waiting for, diagnosed with prostate cancer. At that point, the cancer had spread to several other parts of his body. Fortunately, the veteran is doing okay today. He's in treatment that appears to be working and his spirits are high. He has good things to say about his VA doctors and thinks that they were just as frustrated as he was about how long it took him during this wait time. He describes the experience, and this sounds so much like veterans that I know. He just describes the VA care as an obstacle course that was extremely difficult to get through. He said that because it took the VA so long to get the care he needed, and he said that cancer got ahead of him. He'll never get the months back and know whether his prognosis would be better if the cancer had been discovered sooner. I understand these are just two stories, but they are stories that I hear, and I would assume others hear on a frequent basis. And so I'm on my continual mission of trying to utilize the Mission Act in a way that it was intended to see that those veterans who need faster care, specialized care, care related to the distance in which they would have to travel is available, and available in a way that there are fewer barriers and less frustrations and less delays. I do know that there are instances, as you were describing, in which the VA in-house performs wonderful services, and most, if many veterans in Kansas, if not most, find the VA care very satisfactory and appropriate. I still am looking for the way to make sure that those who have a better option have no impediments toward getting that care. And I look forward to the conversations that tell me how the IVC is helping accomplish that.
Thank you for your opening statement.